And good afternoon, and thank you for clicking in to the ETBU Sportsnet, and welcome to ETBU Extra, a weekly show broadcast live in Marshall, Texas from CC's Pizza. If you come to CC's Pizza during the taping of the show or to the broadcast of the show on the ETBU Sportsnet, you can get the buffet here for $5. It includes the drink from noon to 1 p.m. each Wednesday. And each Wednesday we talk to the coaches from East Texas Baptist University who are in fall sports right now, which is football, cross country, volleyball, and soccer. First up this afternoon on ETBU Sports Extra, the head football coach of East Texas Baptist University, Joshua Eargle. And Coach Eargle, last Saturday the Tigers had a Saturday off to enjoy themselves and kind of get their legs back. Are the Tigers ready to growl this week as they face Texas Lutheran this Saturday?
Oh, yeah. I think it's always nice to kind of have a break in the middle of the season. That's just as good as a win itself. And so we used the bye week to work extremely hard on some things, and we're excited about this week. Practice gone well so far, and so we're excited to get back out there and growl, Mike.
Let's talk about the win 2 weeks ago against Millsap College. It was a beautiful night. Once again, all of a sudden, played your third consecutive home game. The win moved you to 3-1, the best start the Tigers have had since 2008. You won 68-15. I know you had a lot of chance to think about that ball game. It's been 2 weeks ago. What are some of the great things or some good things as a coaching staff? You said, hey, we're glad that we are at this point of the season doing these kind of things on offense and defense.
Well, I have kind of put that behind me a little bit, but it was a good win for the Tigers. One, it was for us. It was a good win streak to get on finally and get to our third win in a row. And each week that attendance at the home stadium and our analysis is growing, and it's been an exciting time for us as a football team just to kind of watch that grow and see all the students and faculty and family and friends just enjoy the environment. But as a football team, we've been growing as well. And each week our mantra's been getting better, and that's all we've been focusing on. And we want to get better at little things and try to perfect techniques so that we can play better. And so, the bottom line is affected, which is that score. And so I think we've done that each week, and that was the main thing coming out of that game. I just really felt like we had, on offense and defense, had really took a big step forward. And I guess a good quality program in Millsaps, and that has great tradition. And just really a huge win for our program. And just helps us get ready going into a bye week to go into a bye week with a win, and then get ready for this next big opponent.
Can I explain more to me? You told me in conversations before this was a good program win. When a coach says that, what does that mean to the listening audience? When you hear a coach say it's a good win for our program?
Well, Mike, it's been eight years since we've had a winning season here at ETBU. And when we walked in the doors as a coaching staff a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, we had goals set just like anybody would want to when they come in and be in this position. And we wanted to accomplish certain things and build a football program worthy of a great university like ETBU is. And along that journey, you've got to accomplish certain things to give you the ability to build confidence and to continue to recruit great quality individuals and take the program to the next step. And Rome wasn't conquered in a day. It wasn't built in a day. And neither will ETBU football. We'll build this thing step by step. And that was just a big step for us because of the quality of the opponent in which we defeated in Millsaps. And traditionally being a top 25, top 35 program, they've won consecutively year after year after year. They were 9-1 a year ago, and for us to defeat them on the football field on Saturday on our stadium was just a big victory for us.
Let's just talk about that game a bit more before we talk about Saturday's opponent in Texas Lutheran University. You won 68-15. In that ball game, you set the single game team record in points scored at 68, total offensive yards at 715. And let's kind of talk about your defensive play that night. You kept 15 points, only them to 15 points, and you had a great game from Steven Siegel and Hunter Jameson. Who else had a good game in that ball game for you against Millsaps?
Well, we just coming out of that game and watching the film, we really felt like defensively we took a big step forward. It's been a growth process every week for that group, and the main reason for that is just the youth. And what's exciting about that is that you're starting to see different names, either with higher stats or having a big game for us that show up each week. We obviously know those faces and those names a little bit more personally, and we expect great things out of those guys every week. But Secular had a phenomenal game as far as tackles, and David James, it was his normal act of self, really, he kind of scared everything into the boundary, so to speak, because he plays to the field most of the time and our anchor end. And Secular had to come up and make a lot of tackles. But you also had big nights from Dylan Bowman again. You had big nights from Josh Battle. Brennan Darjean, a freshman, comes in relief type of effort, plays about 30 snaps. Well, one of those snaps, he stops a big-time drive. They're driving down the field on us. He intercepts the ball and goes 85 yards for a pick six. And so we were just really, really pleased with some of the new faces stepping up and some of the old faces just already a certain kind of their place in the rankings there and in the rankings of our defense. And we're just excited playing team defense. And that's the one thing we've been saying to our guys as family this whole time. And we play family defense. And we don't want one guy to make a tackle. We want a whole host of Tigers making tackles every time the ball stops.
And, of course, your offensive, once again, was hitting on all cylinders. You're known for fast play, known for throwing the ball a lot, but, wow, the running game has really been coming along very well in these wins, this three-game streak. Jordan McNeil, who was our guest last week on ETBU Extra, he had carried the ball 8 times for 127 yards. He only averaged, Coach, 15.9 yards per carry in that win against Millsaps, but Jordan McNeil is not the only running back that you can call his number to run.
No, and we're really blessed in that aspect. We're very deep with quality running backs this year, and probably could start one of any 5 guys on any given week. That's a blessing, and the only way that works is to have those 5 individuals have great attitudes, care about the next guy, the guy beside them more than they care about themselves, and care about the team winning more than they care about their own stat line at the end of the football game. And because we have that at all our skill positions, at quarterback and running back and our wide receiver spots, that's why this offense is so potent right now. That's why it's putting up big numbers. You never know where the football's going. There's one football, but there's 6 weapons on that football field led by a senior-led offensive line. And that's what's allowing this offense to go to even more heights and better heights than it did a year ago, which were pretty impressive in our first year.
Of course, you had last Saturday off, and so 2 weeks ago, your quarterback, Josh Warmich from Hallsville, Texas, named the Offensive Player of the Week in the conference because, once again, he had an excellent outing with a great offensive line, and we'll talk to Charles Williams, part of that offensive line, in just a minute here on ETV Extra. But Josh from Hallsville, 20 of 24, 1 interception, 391 yards, and 5 touchdowns, which ties a record for a quarterback in a single season, which Josh set last year. You're talking about your offensive play a little bit more.
Well, Josh is a captain for us, along with Charles on that offensive side, and we're really pleased with the way he's playing right now. He's doing a good job off the field and in the locker room of leading with character, and that carries onto the field, and it's really helped us play. He's very the best thing about Josh is that he knows where to go with the football and win. His completion percentage is extremely high. And when you have great players around you, that helps because they're always catching the football, and you don't have to go to the same person so they can't double team anybody in our offense. And you got a great run game going so the pass is open, and then you can't stack the box for the run because then it will hurt you in the passing game. And so Josh does a good job. But a lot of times we call a play. There's a couple options off each play. And Josh does a good job of distributing that football to whoever's open or whoever needs to get the ball for that play to work. And because he's able to do that, and because the offensive line up front's playing so well right now, it's allowing every option to be open every play. And that's very, very tough to defend against. And that's what we're seeing on offense. That's where the numbers are coming from. The numbers as a whole offense are extremely high because all the weapons out there are unselfish and they're so talented.
All season long, you've been preaching special teams have got to be top-notch for the Tigers this year. Why are special team play so important in the football game?
Well, in the course of the football game, when everybody looks at the very end, they look at stats, they look at total offensive yards or how many yards the defense gave up. But in the coaching ranks, we always talk about hidden yards. Where did the offense start with the football when they started their possession, offensively and defensively? And all those yards are won and lost during the course of a football game on special teams. And so it's very important for us when we punt the football to not allow a big return. It's very important for us when we return the football to get bank returns and have our offense start closer to the 50 or on the plus side of the 50 so that it's easier for us to put up more points. And so that's kind of, it's a third of the game, and so often special teams are overlooked. And so we just, from day one, when we report to camp, that's the first football meetings we have. When we get ready to roll, we start talking about special teams. You can ask the kids, we need more special teams during the week when we do offense and defense. And it wears them out a little bit mentally, but we're gonna win the special teams battle. And I thought last week against Millsaps we dropped just a step. We weren't bad. We had played so well the week before on special teams. You set that bar high and you want to meet that every week. against this opponent this week, we're going to need those special teams. We're going to need to win that third of the game.
You have a kicker by the name of Ryan Travis. He's a freshman from Jacksonville, just one of many of people from East Texas on your roster. He was 8 of 10 for extra points, but most important is his kickoffs. Putting the ball down there at the goal line where you like to see, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when you find a kicker on our level that's kicking the ball consistently, the 1-yard line, the goal line, or a yard or two deep in the end zone, that's allowed, and it's high, that's allowing your coverage units to get down there and pin them really, really deep, which is our goal, to pin them inside the 20, and just like most kickoff units. But Ron allows us to be able to continue to get better and better at that, and allow that offense to start deeper and deeper in their territory, making it further for them have to march down there to score points on us.
We never saw this stat before until after the Millsap game, but Ryan Travis, your kicker, 9 kickoffs for 544 yards. That's an average kick of 60.4 yards, and I've never seen that stat before, and you think about that, that is a long way to kick the ball every time.
Ryan Travis is extremely talented. I mean, he is. He's extremely blessed with a great kicking leg. Like you said, from out here in East Texas and Jacksonville High School, and he's just a freshman. So he's only played 4 college games, so we're looking forward to the rest of this season and 3 more years with Ryan.
You're listening to ETBU Extra live from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. We're doing each Wednesday from noon to 1. Come down to CC's and enjoy everybody here eating and enjoying the food, as well as talking Tiger sports. The buffet is only $5, which includes the drink, every Wednesday from noon to 1 here at CC's Pizza doing ETBU Extra. I'm Mike Midkiff, talking with the head coach of the ETBU Tiger football team, Joshua Eargle. The Tigers are 3-1, haven't played in 2 weeks, but now they're back on the field. They have a long road trip to Seguin, Texas, to play Texas Lutheran University at 6 p.m. And Coach, Texas Lutheran is a former American Southwest Conference opponent, but now they play in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. They're 5-0 and having a great year down there.
Oh, absolutely. They got bumped up in the AFCA coaches poll, which is the most respected poll, number 18 this week, off their big win, and they're rolling, man. They are a good football team. Offense, defense, special teams, they've got it going right now, so it's going to be a big task for us going down to Seguin this week.
Danny Padron is their head coach, and his 5th season has turned things around. I hate to tell you this stat, but the last time ETBU beat Texas Lutheran was in, 2009. It needs to be won 32-21 at home in Ornelas. When you go down there this Saturday, this is another, you talked about a program game. This is a game that if the Tigers can do what they need to do, come out, this is a big feather in your cap, so to speak.
Absolutely. I mean, all I've really talked to the kids about is this is our last non-conference game. We've got to be peaking when we go into conference, because every game will be so monumental. Every game will count so much. And they've done a good job of just relaxing and focusing on the game in hand. Well, this week being our last one, you really want to go into conference off a win. And for us to be playing a highly ranked team like this and to be able to, we've got to be able to go on the road and take all the momentum that we created here at Ornelas at home. We got to be able to take that on the road to Seguin.
Got to shift it south.
That's right. And it's going to be a big task for us. But Mike, I said all you also, I like our locker room. And I like the type of men we have. We're having success because of the type of players we have, character-wise. I mean, they're great kids, and they're doing a good job of just trusting me and just lock in on what I tell them to lock in on. If we can do that this week, if we can just carry a one-day approach, a one-game approach, and just focus on the present and execute a game plan as a family, we'll have a chance there in the 4th quarter.
Let's talk about the game Saturday at 6 p.m. It's their homecoming. Kind of talk about some keys that the Tigers have to do to upset TLU.
You bet. Well, we'll start in the kicking game because that's what I think is most important. And Ryan Travis needs to have another big day kicking the football off, and we got to be able to cover those units. They have a really good returner on kickoffs. They got a pretty good scheme that they run on kickoff returns. We've got to really allow their potent offense to start us deep and push back to their own goal line as possible. And I think that our return units, we've got to gain advantage in our return units in punt return and kickoff return. Then you move on to their offense and our defense. They've got the number 1 all-purpose skill athlete in America in Division III, and he's the number 2 rusher in America. And he's doing a phenomenal job of getting that ball, and he's a little guy, but he's a scat guy. He's extremely fast. Everything on their offense, every time they snap the football, the ball's going through his hands somehow, some way, whether they're using him as a decoy or whether they're giving him the ball. our defense will have their hands full stopping number 5. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. They rely on him. He rushed for 288 yards alone by himself last week against Howard Payne, a conference opponent of ours. So the defense has got a big task at hand of trying to stop Marcus Burrell. And then offensively, we really never focus on the defense. The good news for our offense is they line up very similar to the way we line up. So they've seen us since the first day of fall camp. We went to practice. They've seen that alignment of our 4-2-5 defense. Their defense is very, very talented, though, and play extremely sound defense, just like we saw from Millsaps last week. What we've got to do is we've got to establish our tempo and establish our game plan and really just continue to work as a unit offensively. The saying goes on defense, it only takes one player to make a great play, but on offense it takes 11 every time they snap a football. So we've got to get this thing revved up, and offensively, you really don't want to take a week off, an open week, because you like the momentum you create, you like to stay in your groove, you like to stay in a rhythm. And so we've really got to jump start that. We've got to get started fast and be able to do that on offense.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time today on ETBU Extra. We want you to get out of the chair and let one of your offensive linemen, Charles Williams, come in and take the headset and visit with him here on ETBU Extra. Charles Williams is a senior from Crowley, Texas, plays in the offensive line for the ETBU Tigers and having an excellent year anchoring an excellent senior offensive line this year. Of course, ETBU is 3-1 in the year, played Texas Lutheran University this Saturday at 6 p.m. in Seguin, Texas. So don't hear that game right here on the ETBU Sports Net. We hear the pregame show at 5:40. And Charles, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Kind of tell me a bit about yourself. Where are you from, and how did you get to ETBU?
I'm originally from Fort Worth, Texas. I just went to school in Crowley, so I take pride in being from Fort Worth, so I always let that be known. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I just went to school in Crowley. But actually, I took a lot of visits out of high school, and I was recruited by bigger schools, and I actually was verbally committed to Arkansas Pine Bluff, who decommitted on me at the last minute, so it kind of put me in a situation that I didn't like, and I took some visits, junior colleges and that type of thing, and then, I met Coach Pappas, who I had been knowing since I was like 11 years old back in Fort Worth. So he called me and told me, he wanted me to come check it out, and my parents loved it. I loved the atmosphere, and I just decided I wanted to be a Tiger from there.
Well, I just remembered Coach Pappas coached at Crowley. Was he your coach at one time?
No, I actually played with his son, who was a teammate of mine in Crowley Middle School in 7th grade. But no, I never coached him because I transferred my 8th grade year to Crowley High School. So I didn't get a chance to be coached by Coach Pappas besides my sophomore year on the offensive line.
Let's talk about the other guys who play with him at offensive line. Kind of talk about your teammates and some of their, the work habits that you like to see and how things are progressing for the offensive line.
The 5 of us are just a great group of guys. I have Tyler Scott, Michael Garcia, Alex Shetter, and Landon Bachman. We're all like brothers out there, and we all, have each other's backs. And, we just come to work every day. Coach Grimes does a great job of pushing us, and pushing for us to succeed and be the best offensive line in the country. That was the standard we set from day one, and I just think we do a good job of trying to come out every day and just work to be the best at what we do.
They are very good. Matter of fact, the last game the Tigers played against Millsap College, the offensive line of ETBU was named the Offensive Line of the Week by D3Football.com. We're visiting with Charles Williams, who wears number 71 for the Tigers, 6'5", 290 pounds. And Charles, I want to ask a question do you remember your very first start as an ETBU Tiger?
Yes, sir.
Explain the story behind that.
Oh, man, it was, a great day for me because, that's just something you dream of growing up,
Was it your sophomore year?
Yes, sir, my sophomore year, and being a starter, for a college team. And it was actually against Wesley College, who was like the number 3 team at the nation at the time. So, it was pretty nerve-wracking, going up there, and then, everybody's telling you, you're going to be nervous, and the whole week, you're like, no, I'm going to be fine. And then, you get out there, the band's playing, and you see all those people in the stands, and it's like, it's college, it's not high school anymore. So, it was a good time. I think we lost pretty bad, so, I really don't remember too much about it, but I just was, happy I got the chance to start. So it was a blessing.
And he has been making people move out of the way for the Tigers since him playing the offensive line. Charles, kind of talk a little bit about being a student athlete at East Texas Baptist University. How difficult is it to juggle time on the practice field, time in the classroom, and make it all work?
It's very difficult. We talk about that all the time as a team. We're what we do isn't for everybody. Everybody isn't able to do what we do. And I mean, with your studies, which is the main reason why we're here as student athletes, we're here to be a student first. So I mean, we just take a lot of time studying, and then you get your grades, and then you have to go out and do what you do on the football field, which is very important to us personally, because another reason why we came to ETBU. So I mean, we just take pride in it, and I mean, it's always hard, balancing, 2 or 3 different things at a time. But I think everybody on the team does a great job of managing it, and just coming out and just trying to be the best student they can be is also the best athlete. So I think as an overall, our team does a good job of balancing it all. And, me personally, I've been doing it for 4 years, so now it's kind of like clockwork. It's routine stuff, so it's not that bad for me.
This is Charles Williams, offensive lineman for East Texas Baptist University here on ETBU Extra. And Charles, you're one of the team captains.
Yes, sir.
When the team voted you in that role, how did that make you feel?
I mean, it was an honor, because I mean, I work hard all summer. I stayed there all summer, and I was on the grounds crew, which I didn't like at all. But I just sucked it up and I did what I had to do. So to get that respect from my brothers, it was just like. It was like a rah-rah moment kind of for me. Like, all my hard work had kind of paid off. But, I mean, like I said, if I wasn't captain, it wouldn't have bothered me. It could have been any of my brothers who I feel, work hard as I do or hold themselves to the same standard as I do, and I would have been perfectly fine with it. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all one family, and that's just how we treat each other, and that's just how we look at it. So, no one's above anybody else. And like I tell my teammates all the time, I'm the same Charles, that I was before you voted me for a captain. I'm just your captain technically. So I mean, I just come out and push people, and I just want to win. So I mean, that's really the main goal.
The last question, as a team captain, I've never experienced that part, going out there on the field to do the coin toss. Tell me what happens out there when y'all are out there.
Really, it's just, a bunch of guys with a bunch of testosterone build up, ready to go knock each other's heads off. So, I mean, there's not really too much friendly conversation going on. It's kind of like a what's up, man, heads or tails. We receiving the ball, we kicking the ball. All right, let's go to war. So, I mean, it's not really too many words said. It's an exciting feeling, though. I like it. I really don't say too much to the other team because, I mean, in my mind, I'm in war mode by the end, so I'm just ready to go.
All right. Listen with Charles Williams. Charles, thank you for your time today here on ETBU Extra. And best of the Tigers Saturday against Texas Lutheran University.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to get the headset off of Charles now and bring in our next guest from the Office of Student Affairs.